Hello YouTube, this is Morgan Airspeed Prime here at my next Star Wars comic review. This one's going to be for Kanan issue number 9. So first of all, apologies about this review being out so late. The comic actually came out in mid-December, just over Christmas. I completely forgot that this was coming out and just missed it, and only picked it up again a couple of days ago. But anyway, let's get into the review of this issue. Overall, I liked it. I didn't think it was like amazing or anything like that. It was like a solid kind of part of the story, but mainly an issue to just show, okay, this was his first battle. He did okay, not perfect. He survived it, and we go into the second battle. And I think they're kind of establishing that he only took part in basically like 2 battles before the battle on Kalar where Balaba was killed. So it's interesting, just that he was involved in the Clone Wars, but it was only towards the very end. But anyway, I suppose my problem in terms of like really enjoying every single issue of this is that I'm not really sure where it's leading. They're doing this interesting thing that's I don't really know what they're doing with it. In the present day, where Kanan is in a bacta tank recovering from his stab wound. And he was distracted from being back on Kalar and stuff like that, and he was stabbed. And there's mystery surrounding that. Why are they here in the first place? There's been so little focus on the present day that I'm not exactly sure what exactly is going on. So that straight away is kind of a thing where I'm just kind of like, what? And then in the past couple of issues, they've only had like a page or two at the start of each issue showing you that, okay, he's in this coma, they're gradually being surrounded by stormtroopers on the outside, and he's remembering all these other events. And then the order in which he's remembering the events is kind of odd, in that you'd think it would all lead up to Order 66 and the escape and stuff like that. But no, that was the first thing they showed us, and now they're going back to tell us this is how he met with Balaba and became her Padawan. This is his first battle. And then coming up next, it's going to be their kind of second battle against Grievous this time. So, where exactly are they going? I think they're kind of going to develop more Depa Balaba in this next one, because what they seem to be doing is basically saying, okay, Grievous was the one who Balaba fought previously, which is why she was injured. And they established that she tactically played it completely wrong against Grievous the first time. And this is going to be her second time going up against him, except this time she has a Padawan who asks questions. So they seem to be setting up like, okay, maybe she'll win this battle because Kanan has changed her a bit and she can think more clearly. He maybe will be a good tactician, that sort of thing. I think that's what they're going for in terms of the flashback. What exactly that's going to lead to present day, I'm not really sure, and I think that's ultimately the problem, that it's not like this flashback, it's obvious like what Kanan's going to learn by reflecting on his past to help him in the present day. He just got injured and is remembering the past. It's weird what they're doing. But anyway, in terms of the issue itself, we open with, we get a page and a couple of panels, a page and one panel actually, in the present day. Obviously, Kanan is recovering in the back of the tank. And on the outside, we see the stormtroopers ordering them to come out and, stand down. And then we see Kalar, and this is like the first time I think we've seen him in the present day stuff. He is outside basically saying, you should go in there and take out those rebels, they're armed and dangerous. And it's clear that he's kind of joking around a bit, but just the fact that he wants them to go in and get him killed is interesting, in that they seem to be setting up that this is probably the big thing in the present day, that Kalar meets Kanan again, and we see what that relationship is like. Kanan's kind of, at this point in time, we see that he kind of wants to avoid that, but what exactly is going to happen? And then we just leave as, they're pretty much set on going in to take out the rebels, since they won't come out themselves. And they just kind of go, look, we're completely surrounded. Kanan hears this and remembers an event in the past when this was kind of roughly the case. And that's when we move into the flashback of him heading into his first battle on the planet Cardoa. K-A or D-O-A. And he basically says, it's my first mission as Padawan to Master Depa Balaba. And for General Balaba, it's her first mission since she nearly died, spending 6 months in a coma at the hands of Grievous. So, we then basically get introduced, or it's reintroduced for about the third or fourth time, to the clones that we know from the earlier story arc, Commander Grey, Captain Styles, but also Captain Soot and Corporal Big Mouth, and some of the other clones. So these are the only four, those four are the only ones who survived from her previous battle. They're back with her, and they don't blame her for what happened. Styles basically says that he got three other veteran clones on their team as well. Lieutenant Remo, Corporals Mix and Kanan, but everyone else is green, completely new first battle as well. And basically you just set up the thing that's been going on for a while now. Kanan doesn't like it when people call him Kid, and some of the veteran clones are calling him that because it's his first battle. But there still is some respect there because he is a Jedi, even if it's a Jedi in training. They seem to respect the Force users. And basically it's revealed that they're being spied on by the Separatists. And then we cut to their meeting about what they're planning to do on Cardoa. And it seems like they don't have a massive presence on the planet just yet, but they're led by General Cleve here, and he's discussing things with Colonel Sear. His name is Coburn Sear, who is in this comic, but you get nothing about his character really. He seems to know a little bit about the Jedi, and just looking at him you would think that he's potentially a Jedi himself, but they don't really reveal that. It's kind of weird, but the main thing is that they're talking to someone, as you can see here, and they don't reveal who it is just yet. But by the end of the comic, you know it's General Grievous, and you get a hint at that because Cleve says they mention that the forces of the clones here are being led by a Jedi Master, and immediately this unknown commander at the time says, "Then General Cleve, that Jedi must die." And Cleve responds by saying, "Your obsession with the Order is a distraction. While it is unfortunate that the Jedi are on the wrong side of this righteous conflict," and he says, no other side exists for the Jedi but the wrong one. And he then just says, "Blabba's not a threat, you yourself faced her on Harun Kal and nearly killed her." So that's what they're going for here, and that's clear that has to be Grievous, because we know from previous issues that it was Grievous who was the one who nearly killed Blabba. So you see his obsession with wanting to kill Jedi come out here, potentially at the expense of the overall operation, because as it's, for Cleve, he says that they don't have a massive presence on the planet just yet. And he just says, "I myself am due on my Gito, but I'm reluctant to leave even a damaged Jedi alive." And he basically says, "Colonel Sears, you can be the one to do this, and that would perhaps mitigate the failure of your late brother." And so there's something going on here with him, but again, I'm not sure if I'm missing out something that I didn't read in another comic, or I'm completely forgetting a character they've already introduced in the Clone Wars. Maybe his brother was involved in the battle on Harun Kal, and Depa killed him and something like that, but I'm not really sure. But yeah, we then cut back to Kanan and Depa Blabba preparing for the next day, and we get introduced to this other clone trooper, CT-1157, one of the new recruits that they have on their team, and he's a very young clone. You can see here that he is not that old at all. And what they then continue to set up here is that this clone, 1157, and Kanan are both basically in the same position, but on kind of different sides, in the sense of it's his first battle as a Jedi in the Clone Wars, and it's 1157's first battle as a clone trooper in the war. So they seem to bond a little bit over here by the fact that their commanding officers both kind of treat them like kids, and they keep them on a short leash, don't let them do stuff on their own, and they can have a joke about this at the expense of their commanding officers here. So that's quite good, and you can see that from Blabba's face there that it's not that she's annoyed. She's actually quite happy that the kind of two younger kind of members, inexperienced, are kind of bonding very quickly, and it's something I've actually liked about Depa Blabba over the course of these issues that we've got to know her, is that she definitely, you can sense that she's mentally a bit all over the place after what happened, and she's doubting herself a lot because of her failure and the amount of people that were killed on her watch. And the only thing that in any way kind of gives her happiness and like confidence going forward is Kanan and Caleb, I suppose, at this point in time. And, you know, the fact that some of the questions he asks are always humorous to her. Just the fact that these two are getting along so well kind of brings a smile to her face. I just like that her having him as her Padawan at this point in time is changing her, and it's kind of helping her to learn after her experience in the last battle. But yeah, they're then attacked on their way to another position, and instantly Caleb's involved in his first battle. And he basically just says, he says, "I'm all right, Master," and I am. I should be scared, but instead I'm exhilarated. And you just see that he instantly kind of feels at home on the battlefield here and is doing quite well. And some of the clone commanders point that out, and she says, he's reckless, but reckless may be exactly what we need right now. And she gives him a little bit more of a kind of role to go off and do stuff himself. And basically, Caleb and 1157 basically in a way kind of team up, and they start taking out a bunch of battle droids as Balaba and who is it? General Sud, I think, go ahead. And not General Sud, what am I talking about here? I don't think we ever get fully confirmed which clone trooper she takes with her, but yeah, she takes one of the other clone troopers and goes off on her own, leaving kind of Caleb there to hold off this kind of incoming batch of droids. While that's happening, we see Seer looking on Caleb from the distance, saying that, okay, he's not a Jedi, but he's a Padawan. And they're just saying that he just says, continue the attack, finish off the clones and the Padawan, and he goes off to deal with Balaba. So we don't really get much on him, and it's a really weird thing that what they do with him, and I don't know if it's going to be important going forward. But anyway, we cut back to the battle, and they're doing quite well. You know, like they're keeping their position, but they're gradually kind of getting surrounded. Caleb's doing a good job holding off blaster fire and stuff like that. Eventually, he makes the mistake of getting out too far ahead of the clone troopers and their supporting fire, and gets hit a couple of times. He gets hit once through the shoulder and then once through the kind of lower abdomen. And Balaba senses this, and he's down. He thinks he can get back up from it, but he kind of goes unconscious. What happens next is that 1157 actually dives down, goes against his commander's order, and basically steps in front of Caleb's downed body and takes out some of the battle droids and basically kind of helps Caleb to survive. And this results in 1157 getting a promotion and earning his name, his clone trooper name. And they call him Stance, I suppose, because he took such a good stance in front of Caleb when he defended him. And basically they force the retreat of these separatists by basically destroying their transport, and that forces them to retreat. They don't go into a lot of detail at all, and then they just wrap it up by saying Master Balaba convinced the separatists to depart Cardoa, basically saying that they won the battle, and they are then reassigned to the next battle on Magito. And who in this comic just said they were heading to Magito? It's that mysterious general from the earlier scene, and it's revealed on the last page that it's General Grievous. So they're going to meet up again, and they're going to come to blows in the next chapter. Caleb's going to have his first encounter with Grievous, and Balaba probably her second. And we just get on the last page as well. Seer apologizes to General Grievous for letting the Jedi survive, and he just says, I'm going to deal with her myself. So that's the issue. And as I said, it's good. There is some nice stuff here. It's what I mainly liked was the kind of relationship between 1157 Stance, the clone trooper, and Caleb. I also like just seeing Balaba's reaction to Caleb and how she handles him, and how she's acting a little bit different than obviously she was beforehand. She's feeling a lot more confident having him around and stuff like that. I'm wondering what the big development is going to be in the next battle, that potentially they hold Grievous off, and it's something that she couldn't have done without Caleb, or at least the influence that he seems to have on her. So there's some good potential for development for both of our characters here in the next issue, in the sense of Caleb will probably learn when he recovers from this battle that, okay, Don't go out too far ahead. My clones are good. They can protect me just as much as I can protect them. I don't need to do it myself to show off. He survived this battle. He did quite well until he made that one mistake. He has one troop who he's close friends with, who is notable for not being involved in the next battle that they have together, the Order 66 one. So potentially he gets killed by Grievous or someone in the next issue, and Caleb couldn't protect him or something like that. There's something I think going to happen to him in the next couple of issues. And then Balaba, of course, being more confident against Grievous and not getting defeated is going to be a big one potentially. So I'm eager to see what happens next, in the sense of I still really don't know what they're going for in the present day stuff on Kalar and how they're going to link that into the flashbacks, but for sure I'm much more interested in the stuff about Kanan in the Clone Wars, to the point where I'm almost just like, why didn't they just not as flashback tell us this, but just have the story be set at that point in time and not need a framework of like they go to this planet and stuff like that, and just tell it to us in order. So where like the last couple of issues would have been the first couple of issues, then you go into this, and then the first one or two issues would have been the last couple of issues of this series. But they didn't go down that road, and I'm sure they have something planned. I think there's 3 issues to go, 10, 11 and 12, which will finish up the series. And that's fine, you know. I think 3 issues is more than enough to cover a big battle and then resolve whatever they have to do in the present day. So, final thoughts on issue 9 are that good, you know, a solid ninth part of the story, some nice relationship stuff set up, but in general, they're introducing a lot of characters that they don't quite develop enough. Like Cleve, I don't massively care about Cleve all that much. This new guy Sears, I know nothing about him right now. He apparently has a brother. I might have missed something, but I don't know what they're going for there. Grievous being introduced is definitely a good thing, in that our villain now is notable. Obviously, we know that Balaba or Grievous don't die, but if they do get into a lightsaber battle, as the preview seems to hint at, it'll be interesting to see, like, does Balaba defeat him in combat, or does Caleb do that? That's definitely an interesting one going forward. But yeah, you know, solid, but there's some problems here, just regards to some of the new characters they introduced, just being very like, are you meant to be really important? Like Kalar, even, like they seem to be setting him up as like the most important character that Caleb met post Order 66, and like I sort of have I like that relationship, but what exactly are they going for right now? That's what I don't know, but we'll see next issue and going forward what happens. But other than that, that has been the review of Kanan issue number 9. In the comments, let me know what your thoughts were on the issue and my review. But other than that, thanks for watching, and bye.